It's mind-boggling to me that if you could do a few simple things to guard your mind and to train it and then think unlimited, why wouldn't you do that? It's the fear of actually being successful. I don't see myself as being that great, so I'm gonna stay here, which is normal. I am going to figure out a way, especially for the Lions, to combat that like we never have before.
Welcome to the Lion's Edge, where top performers sharpen their teeth. Hosted by Joe Blackburn, founder of The Lion, who is relentlessly dedicated to helping business owners lead multi-million-dollar teams. And me, Jason Croft. I transform unseen entrepreneurs into industry leaders by developing their market gravity. Each week, we reveal proven strategies and raw insights to help you maximize your business, multiply your wealth, and make your family indestructible. Now, let's create your edge.
One of the things we battle, and this is as old as the day is long, is the scarcity. And what I'm finding is I talk to people and they give me the logical, and it is, it is logical. I don't have the money right now. I have time constraints. My family's all those things. And
they're stating facts that exist.
Well, that in their mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like in physics, yes. As soon as we're done with this, I got to take William over to school to hop on a bus, go play a basketball tournament. That's real. That's not in my mind. That's part of my day. So what I'm seeing, though, especially in people that are, I call them uncapped, we really like to work with people that have no one telling them where and when to be. So control their calendar, control their goals, and control their income. Because they really aren't limited on anything other than their self-imposed limits or the constraints within their businesses. However, what I see is, and I know it's ingrained in us, like we are born to think this way, and then it's reinforced, is just the limit and scarcity of everything. I know when you hit like your 20s, you do have to save, and that doesn't help. I have to save some money, I buy a house or get married or whatever I'm going to do. So it's like we foster the savings mentality. And then if you start your own business or you run a business or you have a sales position or something where there is no cap, changing that inside takes a lot of work. It's like, and we were talking before about my grandma who's 96. She's Irish. My grandpa was an Italian immigrant. Of course, they went through the Depression as kids and then raised my parents or my mom, and my dad's same thing. His dad didn't finish the 9th or 10th grade and hitchhiked to California, was a Golden Glove boxer, blah, blah, blah. Like they have a mentality of scarcity based on survival. And the thing that is not real anymore for most of us, and there are some people out there, don't get me wrong, that survival, like the next meal's a big deal. I'm not talking about them. We should be helping them and giving, when I look at my give back, it's who are the hungry kids around me. But there's a lot of people that aren't in that situation that think, plan, and execute as if they were. Now, if you have a desk job at some company and you get a salary with a cost of living adjustment and maybe a little kicker bonus or whatever, yeah, you gotta live the Dave Ramsey life. Save, don't spend all your money, and that makes sense because that's it. But where I'm seeing it surface more than ever, and I don't know if it's the world or the negativity online or I don't know what it is, but it's people thinking in that way and then acting out and then just essentially being an entrepreneur with an employee framework. It's weird.
And that's such a chain reaction when you start at the top with that and then you take on clients you shouldn't because scarcity. You don't take that risk. Yeah, because scarcity. Absolutely. And it does. And if with the right chemistry, makeup, whatever that DNA is in somebody, a lot of times those actually imposed, like the depression, those constraints will light a fire and there'll be a drive. But to your point, even with that, you hit a ceiling. I watched it in my grandparents, who same thing. Yeah, they came up through the depression and they had that mentality, but they were, they worked their butts off. But I watched them, and they told me, they shared this. Hey, we stopped. They were doing real estate. They were buying houses for $1,000 and flipping them back
Right.
where they started, and they stopped when it came to this house was going to be $10,000 to go into brick homes, right?
Correct.
And it was terrifying. So they stopped, and there was a ceiling, and that's a piece, whatever version of that is for us. And sometimes it's not something we went through. It is like you talked about. We were raised with. It's just ingrained. It's somewhere in there, and it's like a lot of things that we do with this show. It's like it's bringing this to light, so you see what's possible and maybe how you're reacting out of reflex instead of really deciding how you want to approach life.
Well, it's almost like success is a car with the red lights on it. They like come in and they slam the brakes on. And I get it. It's just, I mean, we're doing a lot of things right now internally to start combating that. I'm doing more, I don't know if I want to use this word, research and experimenting. I'll share something with you. This has been on my mind for a while. I'm going to share something with you that's interesting. And I just wanted to see if what I talk about, because I've experienced it, what it really is. So I took about not quite 2 months off of just getting up, writing my goals and doing my affirmations. I do my goals at my desk, maybe before work started, or just the basics of of spending 5 minutes or 10 minutes getting my mind ready in the morning. That seems help. People spend 20 minutes going to get soda at the gas station, won't spend 5 minutes on their mind. Like, it's like, so, we can do a morning routine deal at one time, but I stopped doing it for a while. I just get up, go work out, come to work, maybe write my goals and get going. And I stopped doing that in June. So a couple weeks or whatever. I had never felt more anxious, irritated, and just off than I've probably felt in 6 years. And I have had more of that fear creep into my mind than I can't even describe it. I almost felt like I was, watching someone else suffer for a minute. I just wanted to see, like, because you can go on the internet and you can do an ice plunge and all that bullshit. I don't know. What I know is this: when I removed that and worked about the same amount, so I work 6-7 days a week, and if you want to call what I do work, fine, but I enjoy it. I mean, I'm not, tasseling corn anymore. So, which actually enjoyed that. But anyway, what happens is kind of that old, it's almost like the old things came back. It was weird.
Mm.
And I'd catch myself thinking, I'm going to wait to do something. I'm like, what the hell? So I know this is a strange topic, maybe. I got a sense of what the people that neglect that probably are dealing with. And if you poison yourself with what's going on around you, I mean, I kind of get it, but it's mind-boggling to me that if you could do a few simple things to guard your mind and to train it and then think unlimited, why wouldn't you do that? And I know it's rhetorical. It's the fear of actually being successful. It's
Mm.
the fear of living of that identity. That's what I'm convinced that's what it is. I don't see myself as being that great. So I'm going to stay here, which is normal. But I am going to figure out a way, especially for the Lions, to combat that like we never have before. And I think with
Wow.
social media, it's amped up. And you see the most unrealistic bullshit online so that, there's like 7 deadly sins of success. Comparison's one of them. Like, and I've seen behind the curtain enough to know that most of that, if not all that, is complete horseshit.
Yeah. Not well, and there's a balance. What I love in social, what I love how we're connected we are these days
That's
is
good.
well that and but seeing what's possible because you're kind of touching on it here too. I mean, that's people coming into the line. They get around people who are succeeding at a higher level, and that's so important to understand. Oh, that's even possible for me to go to. But when it comes into this wacky, oh, I spend 30 minutes a day and I'm making $1 million a second, like then it just
That's what
becomes
I'm talking about.
yeah, and then it's distant from you. Like, "Oh, I couldn't possibly," it's
Well, you
BS.
could, but it would take they leave out the realness of it. And I'm not look, if you've achieved that and you're online and for some reason you look at what we're talking about, great. I mean, awesome. It just it cuts out that work. And I had this conversation the other day. I have started to really like ChatGPT. I really have. Lauren uses it. I'm using it. The Lions are using it. I like ChatGPT. And if you're a kid and you don't harness that, do it, or your kids or whatever.
Big time.
The one thing though, and I text this privately to one of our Lions. If you're asking ChatGPT for something that involves your soul, you're robbing yourself.
What do you mean?
Because if I don't have to take that information from who I am inside of me through my subconscious to my conscious mind, I have short circuited what will defend me against all of what I'm talking about.
What like, give me an example.
Let's say I wanted affirmations to say. Let's
Mm,
just say I wanted some affirmations. The key to affirmations, the most important part is what you have here already. All the wealth you ever wanted is inside of you. If it comes from an external force, yes, the incantation may help. I'm not saying it won't work. But now I'm doing an incantation. I'm singing a hymnal. And repetition, you'll get some results. The key to that to bring it to my conscious is bringing it out of my subconscious. Because my subconscious is what drives what I do. And I just have this, and maybe somebody prove me wrong. I'll throw the gauntlet out. If you're going to rob I call it your soul, like your being, who you are. If you're going to rob yourself of that process, I don't see how you can defend yourself against the environment.
mm.
And you wake up, and this is an old Napoleon Hill statement, and I'm fascinated with his work. And everyone, I mean, that's not, novel like everybody. You wake up on the battlefield. So if I wake up on the battlefield, do I want to wake up with the bullets whizzing at me? Or do I maybe have wanted to clean the rifle and get mentally prepared before I go into the actual shooting? And I'm not shitting on ChatGPT. It's a great tool. We use it all the time. Lauren will take a Fathom that we do, ChatGPT it, framework it, I'll rewrite. Like, we have a process that's probably slower than what most people want. But what I'm saying is when it comes down to your identity, who you are, don't rob yourself by letting the world's conscious and programmers think and dream for you. You can get some help, but pull it out of your subconscious. That's what I'm saying. And again, we could talk all day long about meditation, all these things, but to get back to how that affects scarcity, if I don't rewire this, it doesn't go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in taking and that's the you can get just like, "Oh, I'm gonna read Napoleon Hill and get an idea of like, oh, this is how I could do this." But that's the thing. Wherever you get that take it. Don't just regurgitate. Don't just, oh, this is the thing now. Take it. Oh, that's an interesting affirmation. How do I feel with that? Do I buy that? Does that come here? Oh, maybe for me, it's this tweak to it, and this fits me. And being, again, listen to your soul, feel that that energy, and
One of the things I took out was generally in the morning, I would spend not a long time, 10, 15 minutes, maybe just quiet. And I didn't, and I can't, I mean, maybe it's me, maybe it's just a me problem. I mean, when I took that out, I felt like I was flooded with negativity.
mm,
I mean, just getting into like if I just went into it, and I don't know, maybe some people might call that a crutch. I have no idea. I am not a neuroscientist, nor do I want to be one. I just felt like there's something to being in the dark and the quiet for a few minutes and not relying upon anything other than your mind. That all I know is this. It affected me. Maybe it was, self-fulfilling prophecy. I thought it would, and it did. I don't know. Any psychologist, neuroscience out there that want to analyze this, get back to us. I'm just telling you, I only talk about shit I do, right? I just know this. I felt like crap. And it was physically and mentally, and I was working my ass off. And I was still working out. So I don't know. But to go back to the scarcity thing about it, what I want to figure out is if I'm masking all my fears with logic, how do I stop that circuitry? Because it's not real. If I'm uncapped, it can't be real. If I have no cap on what I can do and what I can make, it's not. The only thing that's real is what I create, right? Am I that like how does? And yeah, there's circumstances. So then that's timeline.
no.
So I know this probably won't get aired, but if it does, and this tweaks you, it's just it's been. Have you ever been haunted by something? Your own mind, possibly. It's been haunting me, and I listened to I talked to a potential client or existing clients, and it's not even thought. It is nanosecond. Boom. I'm not doing that. This won't work. I mean, it's love, or I don't have it's whatever you want to tell yourself to not do what you know you could do. And I want to figure out a way to help people eliminate that.
Yeah.
Like think of it this way. If you had no limit truly and you had no constraints and you overcame all your fears, what would happen?
I think a good Tony Robbins would is like, okay, yeah, I know that's not possible, but what if it were? What would that look like? Right? Just open up the mind, open up, start. Oh, maybe it is possible.
And one other little tiny thing. There's another side to that mountain, and I'm not sure it's better. I know some people, I'm maybe talking to someone that has done incredible things and it is in a place, and Tony talks about this, you can't go sit on the beach for 6 weeks.
Hmm.
If I do, and that's another problem for another day, but where does it stop then? When do I stop pursuing? And you talked about it when if our grandparents bought a bigger house, they stopped there. When do I stop pursuing the gap to my potential? When do I let? And in my mind, that some people would call that retirement, like 30 buy a house, 50 saving your 401k, 65 retire, like that triad or whatever. Is it at 65? Am I done pursuing greatness? Like I don't. So this is going off topic, but it's like the battle up, and then what's next. And if I've rewired myself, why would I ever stop? I mean, if you want to know what goes on inside this crazy thing, it's those thoughts like, how do you help people do that faster with less pain? All the things we talk about. And pain's pain's not a bad thing. People who can endure pain do great things. You're a pain in the neck, and I endure you. What's up?
Exactly. And look what this has done. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but
Yeah,
I don't know. That's probably enough talking in circles for today, but I want to bring it back to, I think we have been really heavily programmed to limit ourselves, and then we're inundated with negativity, and it is not good. I would like to figure out a way other than just reading. If it was just reading a book, we'd all just read a book and it'd work. I want to figure out a way how to help people condition that they'll actually do and get the result. We've had some success with it in affirmations and goal setting, and some, however, if you don't do that consistently, like I took 2 months off. I felt like I was back in corporate America, nervous and hating life for a minute. Like, I'm like, why? My circumstances are totally different, by the way. That was the weird thing. I didn't have a bunch of uncontrollable lunatics asking for things they couldn't do, and bureaucracy and all these things that I hated. They weren't there.
And yet the reaction, and I've found that for me, it's meditation. For me, there's silence in the morning for sure, but then specific meditation. I've heard other people talk about that too, that you almost get in this routine where you can't tell somebody exactly what's happening because you meditated that morning, but when you stop, then you feel it.
Yeah.
Then you feel that lack and these other things creep in. And maybe you just have to experience what we're talking about in order to really buy in, but it's a real thing.
Well, I'm going to give it more credence. Shame on me. I had gotten tilted to let's take action, massive action, which, by the way, if you do one or the other, you won't get as good a result as if you do both. So there's the law of attraction. I do believe in that. What you focus on, think about, and talk about seems to come to you. But if all you do is study and meditate and don't take the action, you're not going to get the results. And if all you do is take massive action and hustle your ass off, you may not bring in what you're looking for. So you have to do both. Like, we talk about an FDS, an effing doing system. Like, I'm not a big, this is not an MBA. This is not a dissertation to work with us. Take action. I think I got too far away from the importance of the mindset work. And now I'm starting to see it. And I recognize it faster in someone I don't know, just with how they talk and think. And by the way, that's not me being clever. That's everybody. Because to take it back to the very beginning, I think we were born with that and it kept us alive. And now we're not forced to survive. So we find it in a different way.
Yeah.
That's all I have for today, my friend.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I like it. We went deep. Lions, there's your edge. See you next time. You've just experienced the Lion's Edge. If this episode lit a fire, if you're ready to push past your current ceiling, there's more waiting for you. Want to see what it takes to become a member of the Lion? Visit jointhelion.com to discover how successful entrepreneurs become unstoppable forces. And make sure you never miss an episode by hitting subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This isn't just content. This is your edge.
This show is powered by Media Leads. Tired of being overlooked in your industry? Learn how market gravity can transform you into the leader everyone's talking about by going to MediaLeadsCo.com.